So the time finally comes where Elvis and Lawry are feeling good enough to get out of bed. Elvis, your parents have repaired your armor and replaced it for you, so you're good to go. Paul, you're the only one who's talked in depth to Cherry. So what do you want to do from here?
Lawry.
Well. Look what the cat dragged in. Himself. You're a cat.
Lawry.
I know that you've been avoiding me, and I've been waiting for days to give you that.
Cherry wants you to prove that magic isn't real.
Did she really say that?
In a manner of speaking, yes. We all want to be proven wrong by you.
Hold on a minute. I see what's going on here. This is crap. You're full of crap. This is some kind of reverse psychology.
No, we genuinely think that you might be able to turn off the pedestals in the dungeon, and we want to see if you can.
Okay, see, there it is. You're trying to get me to go back in that dungeon.
Yes, that's where the pedestals are. And like it or not, we're going back in that dungeon. Chip has said so, Namir is saying so, everybody's saying so.
No, wait, hold on, though. You're using reverse psychology. You're saying you want me to go in the dungeon, but you're trying to trick me, so you don't want me to go in the dungeon. Which means that if I go in the dungeon, it's the opposite of what you want.
I want us to be far, far away from you.
Well, you know what? Too bad. I'm not going to fall for it. I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to put glue on my hand, and I'm going to hold your hand.
Great. I'll let Cherry know to set up a soothing bath for when she gets home after dealing with you.
You do so. Cherry acknowledges this. She sets up a time to meet for the dungeon and says to be there sharp.
Okay, the time I give Lawry is like 30 minutes early.
Well, I've never been late for anything. We get there 30 minutes early then.
Yeah, Lowry's like homeless. He's got nothing to prepare, so you guys set out 30 minutes early and you're standing around outside the dungeon for a good 30 minutes before Cherry shows up. Still, though, when she arrives, she goes, "Oh, good, you're all here. Very punctual. Thank you." She unlocks the door and lets you in. She says, "Truth be told, time is actually really important for this operation. We're on the books. I've actually scheduled this with the guild so they know we're going in. Everyone is watching us, so we can't make a mistake. However, I've got us scheduled for 2 hours from now. That means that if anyone is tracking your operations in the guild, and I guarantee they are, then they're not going to expect you for another 2 hours, which is important." And Cherry reaches up, and she draws a rune above one of the doorways.
What's that?
It's a sentry spell. Very handy in my line of work. I can't maintain it and cast any other spells, but while I'm holding it, I can see through the rune. If anyone comes in here after us, I'll spot them, and I'm worried that somebody will. If they just want to kill you, the dungeon is the best place to do it, so we're at our most vulnerable right now.
Does it ever strike anyone here as silly how people are now threatening to kill us over all this dungeon stuff? And we barely know what's going on.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating.
I think it's exciting. My dad told me it was like this. Everybody's always out to get everybody else. It's great. Constant conflict.
The fact you've kicked over a nest of something without having any idea what the nest is a bit of a you problem. I guarantee whoever it is that's going to kill you isn't going to do so while laughing. Or, well, I can think of a few hirees that might kill you while laughing, but it's unconditional.
I've been wrapped up in a fuzzy blanket full of comforting thoughts like that for weeks now. So are we just going to go to the first pedestal and then leave, or what?
Actually, I'd like to go down to the 3rd floor.
Don't the monsters get stronger the further down you go?
I thought you didn't believe in the magic that summoned them.
I believe that they're summoned by a system of gears and pulleys. I've seen them be summoned.
Oh, did you? Or was it all just stagecraft?
But I got shot by a skeleton. Although, maybe it only hurt because I believed so hard that it could hurt.
Whatever. And the 3rd floor is nothing compared to those minotaurs you already killed, so I'm sure that you guys are capable of it.
We're most capable of screwing things up.
It's easier to destroy than it is to build.
Mr. Elvis, if you could tighten that into poetry, you'd have a proverb for the ages. But for now, let's focus on practical work. Cherry leads you all down to the 3rd floor, until you find yourselves in front of a pedestal. Cherry gestures to it, and she says, "Mr. Lawry, I'd like you to explain to that pedestal why its magic doesn't work and why it's not going to summon a creature right now."
You want me to argue with it?
Well, sure. You consider it a universal truth, don't you? So whether you argue with a person or an inanimate object, the result should be the same.
Yeah, obviously. I've got a thing about materialism, and arguing with objects kind of goes against my whole vibe.
Lawry, if you're worried about what things think of you, isn't that worse than worrying about what you think of things?
I just don't want them to shackle me. I don't want to be bound, you know?
Well, just go tell that pedestal that it doesn't have magic and it doesn't control you. Should be simple.
Okay, fine. I will. I stride up to the pedestal, announcing, "Shut up, you stupid garbage. You don't do real magic. It's fake."
The pedestal begins to light up and then fizzles out. It goes dark.
Okay, see, I did it.
Well,
So what does this mean?
it means Lowry could safely traverse the entire dungeon.
Oh, is that what this is about? Well, okay, why don't we just keep going?
Keep going? Why?
To see the biggest monster at the very bottom, Paul.
I don't want that. That sounds like we die.
We don't know what's at the bottom. It could be very unwise indeed.
Actually, Chip knows what's at the bottom. He told me. I wasn't supposed to tell anyone else.
Really? Okay. That's news. How does he know?
Apparently rocks can see to the bottom?
How? If that were there's tons of magical interference. The whole place is just rife with it. How does rock see to the bottom?
Why do you think I know? When he told me I didn't know, I needed to ask.
Well, it's news to me that someone can see the bottom. That's not casual information they're just throwing around.
Well, it is now that Paul knows it.
Well, there's something to think about. I mean, have you ever heard the saying that two people can't keep a secret? If they're sharing this kind of information with you for no reason, I feel like the only thing that can be coming, Paul, is they're planning to kill you.
I thought that had been established.
Well, I've been trying to work with the information that I have. Oh, no. You know what it is? You know what it is? They're trying to see who's working with you. If I submit a report with information that only you have, they're going to know it's me that's been working with you.
Lady, you have been on the leading front of encouraging everyone to have more information and to take things more seriously. And look at where it's got you.
I mean, it's a classic thing. If you're looking for a leak and you're looking to find out who knows, well, you just leak some information selectively and see where it turns up.
I didn't get that sense when Chip came by.
Chip is smarter than you think he is.
Well, then, so don't tell anyone what I just told you.
God, I wish that you hadn't told me that. I've been studying all these things with you and about you, and now I have to try to make sure that all my reports don't tip my hand.
Well, what was I supposed to do? Not tell you about things?
No. It's not your fault. I should have expected bigger traps coming. I don't know why. I thought we were still in the shadows somehow. We still are. Cherry covers her eye. Oh, but maybe not for long. Omar has just walked in.
Chip told me not to be alone with him.
That is advice that I second. Omar either followed you and already knows we're down here, or he's here ahead of our schedule that we listed.
So let's go deeper down.
That is unwise. We should consider an escape route. I've got one planned. All we have to do is leave.
Do you have one of those eye thingies on the escape route?
Cherry gives you kind of a long stare. No.
Then we don't know if it's an escape route.
We don't actually know the extent of your abilities. And in fact, if you turn around and you look at the pedestal now, it's turned back on.
Hey, cut it out.
The pedestal flickers and then turns off again.
You just have to keep them in their place, that's all.
What do we do? Is he waiting? Is he coming?
He's walked past the rune. I can't see him anymore.
Deeper down.
I turn off the pedestal, we walk by it turns back on. It's like we were never here. He'll never find us.
Deeper down. Deeper.
Lawry does make a good point. What do you think, Paul?
I don't know.
Deeper down. Deeper
Well, okay,
down.
Deeper has the enthusiasm. Lawry, please lead on.
All right, you. I'm not even convinced that you're an actual valuable stone. You could just be Diamond Dell.
You lead ahead, turning off pedestals as you go. They flicker out of life, and then not very long after you pass them, they come back. If nobody really knew you had this power, it's as though you were never there. Your suppressive ability works on the 5th level, 6th level, 7th level, and then Cherry says, okay, that might be deep enough.
How deep does this go?
There are no official estimates saying one way or the other. But evidently, unless this is fake information, as far as rocks can see.
Well, how far can a man see? Like 100 meters, 200 meters, what's normal?
Well, a person could see, theoretically, for hundreds, maybe thousands of meters. Whether they can make out details at that distance is another matter.
Okay, so it can't be that many more
but
floors.
If Rox has magically augmented vision, then there's no telling how deep he can see.
Well, I'm going to keep going. I walk up to the next pedestal. You are a stupid color.
The pedestal flickers off.
Lawry, I agree that we shouldn't go deeper down.
Why? Obviously, the big mystery is what's at the bottom. So what happens if we go to the bottom? We solve the mystery. And then we can stop doing all of this.
Or we battle the biggest demon the world has ever seen.
Or we do something really dumb like that.
I don't think having more information that we shouldn't have is going to put us in a better position with all the people in the guild.
Well, you know what, Paul? If none of us had been in the guild, if we'd all been happy living in a cave, we wouldn't be in this position. So we're going to go deeper in. We're going to get more secrets. And eventually, we're just going to go to sleep in a cave. That's my big master plan.
That is not a plan. That is just a statement of intent.
No, it's a 2-step plan. Go to the bottom, go to sleep.
Step 3, fight the demon Lloyd.
Cherry, back me up here.
Well, what do you want me to say? Far be it for me to talk Mr. Lawry out of this. We're already down on the 7th level. This is more than we can handle. We can't get back up without his assistance. So if he's decided, he's decided.
Look, we'll go all the way to the bottom and then just walk back up on the other side. We'll see what's down there. We know what's all the fuss is about. We know whether or not we care. The mystery will be dead. And then we can go home and forget about it.
We will have slain the mystery in a battle of knowledge.
Elvis.
Oh, please, almost nobody has gone to the bottom, and now we know that Lawry can take us down there. We'll be one of the only adventurers who explored that far.
Lawry,
Oh,
please.
no, I want to go to the bottom. I want to be one of the few intrepid adventurers who did it.
These things aren't done recklessly. I'm sure if anybody has been to the bottom before, they've gone with people like Chip and Omar and whoever else who can do this.
By all means, I think that Paul's correct. We're not equipped to go down any further. We're not equipped to be down this far.
But we are equipped. We have Lawry. We can go all the way.
Do you hear how excited he is to have me take the mystery and just wring its neck? Answer all the questions, get rid of all the intrigue.
You don't know what's down there. What if it's a bomb?
It's probably a big red glowing crystal that summons the ultimate evil or something. Or it summons food and water, because how else is Torvald living in this place?
Well, we don't actually know that Torvald is alive down here. My theory is that the dungeon extends further than we realized, and Torvald has escaped.
Do you have a map of the known dungeon?
I do, yes.
So fine, we'll test your theory. If you think that Torvald found a way out, then we'll check all the nooks and crannies that aren't on your map.
Well, I suppose if you could navigate the dungeon safely, it would make for an elaborate escape network, if you had to.
So there you go. You can check it all out, map everything, we'll see the bottom, have it all spoiled for us, and then go home sad.
Okay. I could get along with that. Just hold on a second. Cherry walks to one end of the hall, and then she walks heel to toe to the other end of the hall, then makes a couple of notes in her book, and she goes, "Okay, I think I've got a scale set up, so if we're ready to go deeper, I suppose I'm ready to go."
You're going to go along with this?
Yes.
He's made up his mind, Elvis has made up his mind, and, it's valuable information. Maybe for us to get out of the city.
So Chip tells me that there's a bottom and he's aware of it, and then that tells you it's time to cut and run.
Well, like I've already said, Chip telling you something you shouldn't know is probably bait to find out where that information turns up later, and how far it goes. I might be reading too far into it, but it's what I would do. But the second concern is how the curator's order is set up. How is Chip going to find out what was said and who you've been talking to? By having a friend higher in the curator order than me. The system is set up like a pyramid, made of chains. There's a lot of us down at the bottom, but as you go up, there's fewer and fewer members, until you get to the very important people, and then finally, Antiphates Rawl at the tippy top. Now this is generally fine for all of us at the lower base, because we're all competing with each other and working for different people. But as you gradually go up, you find that there's only one or two very important curators managing a lot of the operations around the city. I don't know who they are, that's privileged information. But it does mean that the curators are more factional than we appear. I can report up, and that information will flow up the chain and eventually reach someone. Whether it's someone who already knows these things or not, I can't say. I did tell you when we met that there were some malincentives between curators, and we could potentially kill each other. Now, I don't know who's in the upper levels because that's privileged information, but what I do know is that the city was founded as an expedition by the curator's order, which means that everything is kind of built around the curator's structure. Members of the upper level are certainly talking to the city council, they're talking to Chip, they're talking to Omar, and whoever else. So here's the trick. What if the left half of the curator pyramid is slated against the right half? And what if the left half, and let's say we're not on it, is talking to Chip and trying to help him figure out who's working with you? Now, you reveal information that I shouldn't know. I report that information on up the chain. They see where that information is coming from, they report to Chip, and then Chip knows. Now, if I'm on the left side of the pyramid and Chip is on the right-hand side, maybe he doesn't find out what I said. But if Chip and I are both on the left-hand side, maybe Chip figures out it's me and he becomes very, very angry.
Well, but they must know that you're working with us already, if they're following us and they're watching us.
But I'm just a humble career woman, Paul. I don't know anything of consequence yet. I'm trying to scrabble up the ladder. I've only just discovered that Lawry can traverse the entire dungeon by himself. That hasn't shown up in any of my reports, but that is definitely going to make some waves. I was hoping it would buoy me upward, but I'm not so sure now. Simply put, Fire has been played with and things are changing very rapidly. I don't really know friend from foe. Reporting too much information could make enemies within my order. Withholding that information will definitely make me enemies within my order. So I am, actually, okay with letting Lawry show me around the dungeon to see if we can find escape routes that no one else knows about, so that maybe we leave the city.
Like what, leave today?
Well, no. Because if we imagine I'm on the right side of the pyramid, like the correct side, then closing this kind of information gap could really get me a huge promotion.
Oh my god, you're just thinking about your career. You're as bad as anybody.
Well, Paul, it's not like I have kids or a family or anything. What do you think I focus on?
Yeah, Paul, leave the lady alone. She's filling the void in her life with work. Let her be.
Very funny coming from you, who fills his life with philosophy.
I fill my life with the pursuit of enlightenment. It's different.
We'll have to disagree. But I think we have agreed we're going deeper in. So, let's go.
All right, turn around. Hey, pedestal! There's no such thing as magic. Fairies die from natural causes.
All right, as you go down, it's a little slower going because now Cherry is tracing her steps and making notes in her book. She's doing quick sketches. For a while, it's all pretty samey. You go down 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and it just keeps going. Eventually, you get to floor 50. The air is cool, but it's still comfortable, and you're still able to see by the magic circuitry on the walls. And it keeps going down. 60, 70, 80 floors. By this point, your legs are tired. Not only that, but the space is clearly getting smaller. You've been told before that there wind up being more pedestals clustered more together the further down you go. It turns out it's the same number of pedestals on each floor, but the space is shrinking. By the time you get down to the 83rd floor, the entire room is lined with dozens of these gemstones. They've all got an unusual red and yellow pattern to them. It becomes easy to see at these lower levels that there is no other way out. There's only up. Or, here on floor 83, at the other end of the room, there is a single nondescript door.
I reach up as if to brush my hands along the crystals, and then pry one out of the wall and eat it.
I feel like I ought to be mad, but I don't even feel a thing.
Tastes like cherries.
Do you think this is the room that summons the Demon King?
Well, it might have until I yanked off one of those crystals. He's defeated now. You're welcome.
As someone who's supposed to be cataloging all these findings without interference, I'm a little mad.
Well, die mad. If I walk out of this room, you'll find out what it does still summon, and I bet it's really bad.
You know what I've been thinking? What if this whole place is like a temple to a specific demon lord, and when you get to the bottom here, it summons him, and then he walks upstairs, and he and all of his minions spread out, and they summon his whole army, and from the ground up, he kills everybody.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I should eat all of these crystals. I'll save the world.
Yeah, you probably should.
Could we not?
I mean, that can't be all there is, because there's a door right over there.
Well, I don't want the big dumb mystery to be just that we summon something horrible and it kills us. It's kind of a dumb mystery.
Yeah, it would justify all the fear, and we wouldn't want to summon it because it would, ruin everything. So we'd have to just keep going on in trepidation and uncertainty.
Okay, see, that tears it. There better be something really good on that door, otherwise I'm going to summon the Demon King or whatever's in this room.
But Lawry, he'll kill everybody.
Yeah, but at least then we'll know that. And the mystery will be dead.
Well, as much as I wish I could be here with a slightly less erratic crew, we've come this far. Should we go on?
I demand we leave sad and disappointed in how weak this mystery was, or otherwise I'm summoning the Demon King.
Well, there it is, I guess. Mr. Lawry, we're at your whims. And you approach the door.